Hi, here is Liprandi and this is another classic toy from our collection. He is Trap Joe from the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line, produced by Mattel in 1983. He is an evil guy, as you can tell by his look, and he's got the same body structure as many of his colleagues, so basically he's got movable arms and head, spring-loaded waist, and the legs are held in position by a rubber band, so they became quite loose over the years. But he's got a couple features more than the other characters. He's got a spring-loaded jaw, oh, very mean. And he's got interchangeable limbs for his mechanical arm. So right now we are seeing a hook, but we can change it with a laser rifle, or we can change it with mechanical claws. And the other two accessories that are not attached to his mechanical arm right now can be hooked here on his belt. One here, and the hook must go right here. And we can see there is an evil, mean Jolly Roger symbol here on his belt. Overall, he's a cool-looking action figure. In the original mini-comic, he came with Trap Joe was so dangerous and powerful that He-Man and Skeletor had to combine their forces in order to defeat him. But at the end of the story, Skeletor just hired Trap Joe as one more slave. In real life, Trap Joe wasn't a criminal from a parallel dimension as it was in the included mini-comic. Actually, to get his real origins, we've got to look back at the old James Bond movies. When Moonraker came out, the character of Jaws was so popular that Mattel tried to include something similar in the Big Jim Secret Agent toy line. So they prepared a prototype for a new character called Iron Joe. He had a mechanical jaw and a mechanical arm with interchangeable limbs. Such figure has never been produced, but a few years later, in 1982, Mattel's designer Colin Bailey recycled the whole concept for a new character in the Masters of the Universe toy line. He was called X-Man, so of course they had to change the name into Trap Joe, but the figure he designed was Trap Joe as we all know him. To get the final figure, they recycled some parts from pre-existing action figures in the same line, so Trap Joe's left arm is a modified version of Many Faces 1, and also the legs are the same. In the old TV commercial you can see some kids passing a string through this hole in Trap Joe's helmet and using it as a zipline. I've never thought it was a great idea, but now I look at the original concept and I see that the idea of a zipline in Trap Joe's helmet has always been there. Like many other characters from this line, Trap Joe has been produced in many different places in the world and also in a few different periods. So, there are many different versions of the same toy all around the world, but the most noticeable differences can be seen in the French version, who was known as Dentos. He had a slightly different head sculpt with a slightly wider helmet and jaw. Now, a few years later, or many years later, in 2000 and something, when the new line of Masters of the Universe action figures came out, they redesigned the whole character and prepared a new sculpt. And here it is. He was really cool in my opinion, and much better than the version of the Masters of the Universe classics. Well, that's it. Trap Joe, a cool action figure from the past and a classic piece in toy history. We've got many Masters of the Universe to show you. Ciao!